What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the 5th episode of Past the Joystick.
Cinco.
Episode 5. It's been a month since we started this journey, and we appreciate all the support. We appreciate all the feedback that you guys have given us. It's just making us better, just making us grow with more confidence in what we're doing. And you know, we're doing this, like I probably say every episode, we're doing this because we like video games. It is our passion, and we just want to bring you a little bit of what we like. And of course, get you guys engaged in these times that we're going through, because we all need something. We all need something to keep us busy, especially throughout the hard times that the world's going through. So we're doing this because we wanna keep busy, and we wanna engage with everybody, and it's what we like I said. So
yeah, and we stay safe while doing it.
Exactly.
So I mean, it is what it is.
Yep. But welcome to the next episode, and let's just get into it. I just want to start with Animal Crossing, because Animal Crossing got a July update on July 3rd, and that was so good. I know you don't play Animal Crossing as much.
I've seen it. I've seen enough, actually, surprisingly. Ooh, I hate it.
But Animal Crossing, the July update in July 3rd was so freaking fun, because they finally allowed us to go into the ocean. So you can finally swim in Animal Crossing, and oh, how fun it is. So you get your little wetsuit, and then you go into the ocean to get the underwater sea creatures or whatever it is that you find down there. But it's so fun. And then you meet this little otter, which is amazing,
Aww.
So fun.
I have to play now.
So it's so good. I feel like Animal Crossing is evolving now because it just brought everybody together since the quarantine started and the whole virus spread throughout the world. But Animal Crossing has kept us together, I feel
definitely.
Animal Crossing really changed, in my opinion. I feel like it didn't have this big of a fan base back then, and it has gotten so many more people now.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
It's crazy.
Oh my god, there were so many. I've heard of the game plenty of times, but I've never seen it amassed the way that it is. But it's also the situation that, again, millions of people have been buying Switches to the point where it's been sold out constantly and almost all the time.
I agree.
And then on top of that, a lot of people are buying them. We're like, yeah, you ever heard of Animal Crossing? It's gonna be like the game to play. And then everyone seemed to get it. And I mean, I know people that don't play games, and they're like around the 500 to 600 hour mark.
Yep.
Like they're logging in time. But
it's
again,
insane.
I mean, it's keeping people sane.
It is. Yeah, it's definitely keeping everybody busy. And what I appreciate about Nintendo and all the developers that work on Animal Crossing, it's the support on the game, and of course the updates that keep us, keep the game going. And updates like this in July 3rd that just changes the game a little bit, but it just brings a community all together. I personally am part of a few Facebook groups for the game, because it's that fun just to interact with other people, seeing what they build in their islands, getting inspiration for that. I feel like Animal Crossing has been such a big thing, such a big change for everybody. And everybody that owns a Switch, if you don't own Animal Crossing, please give it a chance, because it will suck you in. I always say.
It's incredibly. It has such like a positive vibe to it, which is why I love watching it. Even it's not like I don't play because my girlfriend mostly plays, but I normally just watch her play it, and I'm just like, yeah, that looks pretty cool. Like yesterday, she caught like a shark that I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
And I saw that she was diving and she got like a starfish.
Yeah.
So again, they just keep adding, and the game is just fantastic.
It's those little things that just keeps everybody engaged, and I love it. I love the Animal Crossing life. So if you have a Switch and I don't have you as a friend, please let me know. I'll add you. Give me your friend code. We're gonna be there, so I can visit your island and do a little tour, because I love that.
Yeah. You could also do like a little party with KK Bubblegum.
Yes. Oh, of course. That's my favorite jam. KK Bubblegum. But let's get into the big games of next generation console, which is one of the big games that I saw this week, and it looked really interesting. It's your style of gaming.
Oh yes.
It is Werewolf: The Apocalypse.
Yes.
Holy crap!
I love me a good hack and slash.
Oh yeah.
I want to watch the trailer once or twice more to get like an indefinite feel for it. But I saw it earlier this morning, and it was a game that when they originally showed it was sometime last week with a really gorgeous cinematic trailer.
Yeah.
Like they put a ton of time into that, and you just watch it, you really have no idea what the game's about.
Nope.
But then you see the gameplay, and it's a hack and slash.
Yeah.
So just in case that term is like unfamiliar or anything like that, games along the lines of like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, or games like Vanquish and stuff like that. Pretty much anything made by Platinum Games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
It's that type of feel.
Just you go into the game, and then you start doing exactly that hack
and slash your way in.
Because it's so much madness going on in the screen, so many enemies, but you're so strong as a character that you're just going in there and just slashing everybody.
You just bruise through the entire game.
Yeah, so like one of my favorite games, Devil May Cry, it's one of the best games ever made for hack and slash, if not the best, arguably.
Easily.
So I feel like that style of game, now you're getting to play as a guy that transforms into a werewolf. And from what they showed, we'll definitely post a video of it, and we'll post a link also for it. Incredible. Like, I looked at it and I was getting hyped just watching it. It's one of those games that just you want to play. And then the song that they put behind it and everything in the trailer, oh my goodness. I was so hyped.
I think the hypest games I've ever played in that category, 2 of them are 360 games, which is crazy. Metal Gear Rising and Vanquish. Those two are like the definitive, pretty much like hack and slash to me. The music and everything, the pacing, it's just perfect. They literally define.
They keep you invested into
100%.
Oh man.
And then Devil May Cry 5 came out and just made everything about those games perfect.
Ridiculous.
It's way too much fighting potential you could do with that game.
Yeah, no. I feel like it's going to be a big game for the next generation console. It is going to be available in the current gen, so Xbox One, PS4, but it will be available for the next generation Xbox Series X and PS5. So I would say if you're looking into a game that you just want to go in there, stress relief, and you just want to slash some enemies, I feel like that's going to be the game for you. It's going to definitely be a big thing for the next generation. And talking about next generation, let's say, for example, Werewolf, now they're talking about next generation games being $70. So instead of $59.99 from $60, they're increasing it a $10 jump.
Yeah.
Which, you know, it's been a few years since they've done that, because Xbox 360, PS3, going to the Xbox One and PS4, they stayed the same price. They went from they stayed $60 throughout 2 life cycles of consoles. Before that, they were $50. So they jumped $10 when they jumped into the Xbox 360 and PS3. But now we're looking into, you know, another $10 jump into the next generation console. How do you feel about that?
So I actually know the backstory on it. So I want to say it's a little bit complicated, but there's a lot that actually goes into it. One of the big things that they're doing for that in general is the one game that's out that they're not. The reason why that price tag exists is 2K21, I believe.
NBA,
that game also goes with something called Xbox Smart Delivery, which is a system that Xbox is trying to push for all developers. The only thing, or the major reason this exists, and a big part about this, is it takes games from the Xbox One generation and it ports it over to the new Xbox, but it gives you upgraded visuals, graphics, and stuff like that. At zero cost. This is basically Xbox's way of saying, we want you to play your current games on our new console, so come buy our new console, but play it better. But there's some companies that don't want to do that. AKA the reason why this whole NBA situation is going on. Which is a little bit, again, it's a little bit stupid, it's a little bit cumbersome. And I found out today even that they're actually deciding that, hey, if you want our game on a new console and the old console, just pay $100 and get both of them. So they're charging people $100 to get the Xbox One and the Series X version.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, a $10 jump, I personally don't think it's that much, just because you are going to get it in the next generation console. And just think about all the work that these developers put into the game so it can actually play and look the way that it does. Because it's not only the console that is doing the job, but, you know, the developers behind the game itself, that software, they're putting that work into it. I feel like $70 as a jump, because if you've seen gameplay of any games that are for the next generation console like PS5 or Xbox Series X, I feel like a $10 jump is not that much.
Not at all. I feel like it's justified, because like a lot of these games have so much love, energy, and like passion put into them.
Of course, yeah. And look at the beautiful games that they're creating. I mean, we talked about in one of our recent episodes, Project Athia.
Yes.
Like, look at how beautiful that game looks in just a trailer that we saw. We don't even know anything about it, but just visualize, and then gameplay on what you're thinking you're gonna be doing because of the trailer that they showed. I feel like that was amazing.
Yeah.
A $10 jump, I don't think is gonna be that much.
I think that's fine, and also the good thing is $10. If you just add it up, like you're looking at it like a corporate way, $10 extra per person. That also helps feed everyone that helped produce the game. That goes towards the publishing studio and everything. So it's like a huge tree that branches, and it just keeps going and going.
I mean, if you're a true gamer out there and you want to play your games, you understand what we're talking about. Because let's take for example, like we were talking about NBA 2K20, NBA 21. Yeah.
21, yeah.
21. But it has such a big following behind it that if you are planning on getting NBA, you probably have all the previous ones too.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things that, you know, that $10 jump, you won't mind it because you want to play the next generation console, and it's gonna play better. So I know who is it, Microsoft, that is having some issues with the whole
smart delivery system.
Smart delivery. And
it's
all
like
that stuff.
it's like the companies that they're trying to get it from, they're being stubborn about it when it comes to that.
Yeah,
but a lot of companies are really nice. Like I talked about this last, but I still feel like one of the best that's good at implementing everything new, of course, is Titan Forge, the developers of Smite, because they're one of the first companies. I want to say one of the first, but they're one of the major companies that when they implemented crossplay and cross progression, they also were like, yeah, we're gonna do smart delivery too on day one.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
It's just so smart. It makes sense.
It brings, not only does it keep your audience, it brings them to the next generation console. So you have people that are going to that generation console and that are gonna be playing your game. So it just makes no sense to me why you wouldn't do it, you know, as a developer.
Yeah.
Because a lot of developers, you know, they are greedy, so they want you to buy it in the current gen because you are gonna play it, and then if you want it on the next gen, then buy it again. Pretty much, that's what they're saying to you. Me personally, let's take for example Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
When Cyberpunk wasn't announced that it was gonna be upgraded to the next generation console, I said to myself, well, it's coming so close together with the console. Why am I gonna buy it in the current gen? Why not wait to the next gen and buy it the way that it should be played? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then they announced that they're gonna upgrade it for free. So I was like, okay, so I'll buy a current gen, and then when the console comes out, I'll have it already. So it's one of those that just keeps you engaged, and you are gonna make your consumer much happier with, you know, importing your games into it.
Yeah. It's like the fact that they're allowing you to try out the different game on multiple, I wouldn't say multiple systems, obviously, but multiple instances of these.
Yeah.
Like, for an example, let's say you just happen, in the future, you just happen to get the Series X and the S, and you have your Xbox One X or anything like that, or Xbox One S. You could try out the same game on different consoles and get, like, a feel for why there's such a difference in, like, power and stuff like that.
Yep.
So it's good for more or less people that have all the consoles, or even people that only have one of them, so it gives you an idea of, hey, I got this, and this is the reason why I bought this console, because it's taking up that extra, you know, power and stuff like that.
It's one of those that you always think about, well, why am I going to pay so much money for another console? Well, this is why. Yeah. You know, if you own both consoles, play the same game on both, and you'll understand how it handles, why the change in graphics, or even if you can see a difference in graphics. Because we talked about in another one of our episodes about having the right hardware for, like, the right TV or the right audio system if it's a game with a really good audio or anything like that. So that's where it really changes for you. So if you have a really great TV, like a let's say like an OLED or like a nice 4K TV, you will see the difference on the current generation consoles versus the next generation consoles. That's where you're really gonna notice the power of, you know, the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X.
100%.
Yeah.
One thing that I was like actually excited about when they started talking about all this like smart delivery thing was how Microsoft really wants to push this. Like, they want people to have this. Like, they don't want it to be like, hey, yeah, why are you going to pay more games and you're paying more out of your pocket instead of getting something that's going to benefit you. I like that. It's something that, I mean, PlayStation's not doing it, and that's okay. They don't have to. But this is something that Microsoft is doing that they're just like, come buy our new console.
It just makes sense, you know? Like, if you're thinking of getting the Xbox Series X or the PlayStation 5, look at both consoles. Not only because of specs, but what is the company doing behind the scenes? What are they doing to, you know, keep the audience happy, the consumer and the gamers out there? So see these little things. We're not talking about like the console wars. We're talking about what the companies are doing in a whole another aspect of the gaming itself. So, you know, Xbox is actually trying to be like, okay, if you have this game now on the Xbox One, you're gonna have it on the Series X. PlayStation, unfortunately, is not pushing that because, of course, they want you to buy it twice. They get another cut out of that. But it's one of those.
There's some games that are exclusions.
Yeah.
The only game that I've seen is Cyberpunk.
Yeah, because certain developers said, like, no matter what, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
But Xbox wants most of the games already.
Yeah, it's already doing that.
So, which is great. So, again, look into that. Let us know what you guys think. Do you guys think a $10 jump from $60 to $70 is a big jump? What do you guys think of the collector's edition? How much they're gonna be, if there's gonna be any later on? So tell us what you guys think in the comments. Message us on our social media, and then we'll get engaged into that little topic because it's a lot to talk about.
It's crazy.
It's a lot to talk about.
I will say though, for that, the whole set, for $70 instance stuff like that, the one thing that also pops into my mind is like, that's an instance where, of course, the new consoles are doing SSDs.
Yeah.
So like, one word is just it may not seem like anything big now, but it's the difference between next gen and current gen, and that is going to change every game that we play. Everything. It's going to change even the games that, I mean, we haven't played obviously, and then the games that we're currently playing, when they port them over, that SSD is going to make games that usually take like a minute to load, like 5 or 10 seconds.
10 seconds, bro. So it's crazy.
Sometimes it's instant.
Imagine, I know there's a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5 players out there. Imagine that starting loading screen. Oh my goodness.
Imagine getting out of that in 5 seconds.
You start the game, press the button, start the game, you see the loading screen disappear within seconds, and you're in the game already. Holy crap.
Hard drives are a very big limiting factor to why
they are.
A lot of games are, I wouldn't say cumbersome experiences, but why a lot of games have like loading screens, like Spider-Man. If anything, I'm going to find a video, but there's an actual test on like test hardware and then the current gen consoles of them booting up the PS4 Spider-Man. And it was about like I think it was 5 or 6 seconds for it to boot up, and then on the current gen's about like a minute and a half,
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Think about just waiting to play your game that you're so excited to play and you can't because of the loading screen. That's just wild to me, but it is what it is. Next generation consoles, you won't have to be worried about that. We're gonna get so many different games, especially Horizon, the new Horizon. Hopefully the new Spider-Man won't have that problem with loading screens, so I'm gonna be very excited for that.
I think that and Ratchet and Clank are gonna be the innovators for the console.
Definitely,
100%.
Yeah, definitely. But another big news coming at you this week, which you are probably seeing it on Sunday. So if you haven't seen it or you saw it already, is the Ubisoft Play event on July 12th, which is Sunday, at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, 2 p.m. Eastern time, which they're gonna announce anything Ubisoft that they're gonna be coming for the year, next generation console. Hopefully, we're gonna get some news on that, what they're gonna be bringing to it, which we already got some hints on. Watch Dogs.
Yep. They said Watch Dogs and some other stuff.
Yep, Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and a bunch of other little things. But what do you guys want to hear from the Ubisoft? Or if you already saw it, what did you guys like about it? I mean, Nick, what are you excited about in the Ubisoft Play?
I know for a fact. For a fact, I know they're doing Hyperscape information, so I want to see more on that, obviously, because I played a little bit on PC and it was a little rough. Again, it could just be the experience that I had. And then they're doing some more Watch Dogs stuff. And a good thing about that is if you have a Ubisoft account and you link it and then you go to watch it, you get Watch Dogs 2 for free on your PC. So if anyone who happens to play PC and doesn't have Watch Dogs 2 or hasn't played it, now is definitely a good time to try it for free. It is a pretty good game in my opinion. I think it's fun and has a lot of good mechanics and a lot of good instances that I'm really looking forward for them to like make Watch Dogs Legions like pop, because I love the game, but I want it to feel how they talk about it.
It does need a lot of tweaks, in my opinion. Watch Dogs 1 was an experience overall. When they released Watch Dogs 2, it was tough to get into it, just because of everything that they did with the game. And, again, mechanics and whatnot on that. So, I feel like it just needs a little bit of work. Especially, like, now going to, you're getting it for free on PC. So, definitely give it a try. So that way you guys understand what we're talking about. But with Legions, Watch Dogs Legions coming on to the next gen, hopefully, when they announce all the news on it, I think Watch Dogs Legions is definitely going to change the whole Watch Dogs game itself. I feel like this is going to be the game. If you do like it or you don't or you're not sure about it, I feel Watch Dogs Legions is the one that you should be back into the Watch Dogs games overall. Because of what they showed, what they talked about, developers and everything, I feel very, very excited about the next game.
Yeah, I'm very interested because of the fact that with obviously like the continuous delays that they've done for that game and things like that. Not only is it going to be like a hopeful, I wouldn't say launch title, but like a release for next gen. I feel like it's going to be like a big change, kind of like where Horizon is open world for this game as well.
I think so.
Just because of the fact that there is no technical main like protagonist. You play as like whoever you find in the game, and everyone has different abilities. So literally, you're not tied down to one character. You can play multiple different characters that all have different things. Like one thing that a lot of people were showing off when the game was originally announced was you could play in as an old lady, and her actual gameplay mechanics are based around like physical, like like old lady physics. Like she doesn't walk as fast, she doesn't do things. She relies on a taser to get through all of the fights and stuff like that. She crouches and walks slow, so it's just like I can't imagine what they've done 2 or 3 years later.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that they've taken all the time and love and they've put into this game, just like Beyond Good and Evil 2, the game that we still haven't seen, that they've been talking about for many years. Yeah. I'm hoping that those two games, they're like...
about it and still haven't seen anything.
Or, wait a minute, I just thought Ubisoft, Splinter Cell.
Yeah. Well, did they announce anything for Splinter Cell?
They've shown multiple teasers, and he's made numerous appearances in every Ghost Recon game for the past 2 or 3 years.
You're right.
So maybe I'm only hopeful.
Yeah,
I say this every year.
Yeah, because Splinter Cell is a big topic. Yeah. If we get into it, really.
It's been it's gonna be 8 years since the last game.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Which is it's wild. So I feel like if they do come in with a Splinter Cell announcement, I mean, we'll be talking about it next week.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Splinter Cell will be a big thing. Mm-hmm. One big thing that I'm excited for, and let me disclose this: I have not played a few of the genre, but it is Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yes.
Looking into it, to be honest with you, I haven't played the past 2 Assassin's Creed. So that's Origins and
Odyssey, which are technically the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I haven't even played those because of the bad taste that Assassin's Creed has left in the past with Unity and a bunch of the other ones, like 4, and a lot of people like 4.
Even 3.
Yeah, even 3, exactly. Like my personal favorite, obviously, is I feel like it's still gonna be Forever 2, but again, let's talk about Valhalla. You get to play as a a Viking, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you get to play as a Viking in the new Assassin's Creed, and Assassin's Creed has just done so much in the whole lifespan. They have brought you throughout the whole world. You've gotten to play as so many different assassins, and the gameplay is what I had a problem with. Which again, I haven't played the previous 2, and I know they have changed a lot. And trust me, I will play them before Valhalla comes out because I want to just get the feel for the new mechanics and everything. But in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, from what they've shown, everything that they have talked about, I feel like it's gonna be definitely the big changer, especially in the next generation console, which with open world, because you gotta think about rendering, you gotta think about all the mechanics when you're actually in the world, all those little things that you gotta think about. I feel like it's gonna be the big change for the next generation console. Talking about
SSD, man, SSD is going to
kill it.
It's gonna kill it.
It's gonna
make it a completely different experience.
Think about Horizon, like Nick was talking about, and all these other games that are gonna be bringing so much into it. Assassin's Creed will definitely be one of those.
Yeah.
I have a good friend that actually Assassin's Creed is his favorite game, and he religiously plays that. So, I wish that I could get into it like him. I wish that I could get into it like anybody else that plays Assassin's Creed. But trust me, I will give it another try because I definitely am very excited about Valhalla, and it will bring me more. How do you feel about Valhalla?
Man. So,
Have you played all of them?
No. The last game that I played was the 3rd remastered, I think it was, when they brought it to Xbox One. Yeah. I did play, and now when I mean play, I mean actually dedicated time into. I didn't just hop in and play for an hour or two or something like that. I did have I had a lot of them. I had Unity and then 1 or 2 after that. I wanted to try Odyssey because I've heard and I've seen nothing but stupendous things about the game.
That's the previous one, right?
That's the previous one. That's the one that they kind of changed the formula and they treated it like an RPG.
Yeah, and so when you're playing warrior, right?
Yeah, you can do male or female, and whenever you're playing through the game and stuff like that, you actually get armor and weapons that have different stats and stuff like that. So you can create your assassin. To me, that's my type of game. I'm hoping Valhalla does that. I know for a fact that they said Valhalla is actually smaller than Odyssey, but it's more focused.
Exactly, which is a good thing in a sense.
Yeah.
It just because it's a small game doesn't mean that it's not gonna be as fun. But I feel like it is a good thing overall.
I think we got lost in the sauce of making big games for the sake of making big games. Hey, we have this open world map that's the size of 3 times the size of GTA 5's map, but there's nothing to do in it. It's just a desolate.
The only company that does that very well is CD Projekt Red. They do it perfectly.
That's why Cyberpunk.
Exactly.
It's gonna be amazing.
Is gonna be probably game of the year. If you haven't, I know we talk about it so much, but Cyberpunk. If you haven't played The Witcher 3, which is one of my all-time favorite games, I feel like that it's definitely gonna be. Cyberpunk is gonna definitely be one of the big contenders for the game of the year because of the company of open world, like CD Projekt Red. Now, Assassin's Creed, Grand Theft Auto, like Nick mentioned, or any other open world games, definitely need to invest more It doesn't have to be humongous, like The Witcher, for example. It doesn't have to be that big, but if you make it focus into the gameplay and you make it focus into the storyline or something, and I don't know, if I can customize my character and then make him my way, but it's linear on the story and it's gonna make it good, then hey, why not? But there's a lot of games that do that. They don't do it well, but hey, we know we have a lot of those.
Yeah, I'm definitely just like waiting for the game, and I'm gonna say it for probably the last time in this episode. I promise. I definitely feel like, because I saw that they released like a map, I guess, of the game. In terms of like games being big for the sake of being big, I feel like when Cyberpunk does come out, it's gonna enforce other open world games to take on what they're doing is making a smaller map, but they're making a lot more of the map accessible, which is what pretty much I feel like is the only thing that they should do. Because why should I drive down 40 streets in GTA to only have 2 buildings to go?
Exactly.
So
that's just ridiculous. Think about. Oh man, I'm always gonna mention this in any game that I play. Sometimes, and you guys can tell me if you agree or not. Sometimes when I'm playing a video game, the world that I cannot access in the background sometimes looks even better than the one that I'm in.
Yep.
Don't you like? Sometimes don't you want to go into like a mountain or something that you see in the distance, and you go into the edge of the map and you cannot cross that?
Yeah, you're just looking at it like
damn, bro, that's ridiculous. It's one of those things that always, grinds my gears when it comes to certain video games. For example, I know we play a lot of Apex. Apex has a lot of stuff around the border that you see, and the world itself looks incredible. Why not bring that into the map itself? Like, I feel, for example, Kings Canyon. Kings Canyon is a great map overall, and they keep changing it. But World's Edge has a lot of mountains and everything outside of the actual ring. I feel like if they bring those mountains in, keeping certain locations of the map itself, I feel like it's gonna make it so much better.
Yeah.
Because I feel, World's Edge is so open. There's a lot of opportunity to just see enemies all the time. With Kings Canyon, you have to be aware
it's
of your
lot tighter. It's a lot tighter. It's a lot more dense. So a lot of times you end up in like weird firefights.
Exactly.
But I mean, we'll see, because I feel like open world is such a gimmick, and a lot of games try to do it and they try to mimic what other studios do, and it just.
I feel like open world is the next generation. So who was it? EA. EA was the one that said single player games are gonna be dead soon.
Yeah.
A few years ago, I want to say it was like 8-9 years ago or so. They said that single player games are not the future and they're gonna be dead. Look at all the game of the years that have come out throughout after that.
All single players.
All single player games.
All of them.
Think about all that stuff. Look at The Last of Us. Look at The Witcher that came out. God of War, Spider-Man. All these games that are single player games that are just amazing. Incredible games. You know what I'm saying? You
can't beat them. You can't fight them. They're literally. But I guess what separates them from multiplayer games, stuff like that, is multiplayer games are made with the instance, and not a lot of games do this. But obviously, you just hop into a match and you play it. There's some other games where you hop into a match and there's a little bit of incentive to like do some exploring. Yep. Hence, like Apex, where you do have story beats built inside the game. Mm-hmm. But single player games are built with like love, care, and years. I mean, years of like dedication.
The problem that I have with a lot of the multiplayer games is they release it, the game itself, and I'm talking to you, EA. The problem is with multiplayer games, you release games, they are incomplete when they come out, and then you can justify them by releasing patches or releasing updates and everything. Sometimes it's just too late. Let's talk about the Star Wars game. Battlefront. Let's talk about that.
Which one? 1 and 2, because they both blew.
Yeah, no, I know. But 2, like 1, everybody was excited for, because you've never played a Battlefront before.
Oh, yeah.
Other than the older gen. But this one was going to be multiplayer. So you get to play Star Wars characters with your friends, make it multiplayer, and make it in a big scale. You're talking about Battlefield and all that stuff.
I will say,
to that scale.
The beta gave me super goosebumps.
Exactly.
It did.
You know, those are the feelings that they give you when you're starting to play it. But then the game releases. And it crashes. Holy
None
crap.
of that happens. The servers are trash.
Sad, man. It's so sad. In Battlefront 2, nobody wanted to get it because of the problems that everybody got with Battlefront 1. And that's the problem. You think that you can justify it by releasing patches or releasing updates later on because it's gonna keep your audience, or it's gonna bring back the audience. Nobody wants that. If you're gonna release a game, make sure the game is complete. Make sure the game is full experience when it actually completes. If you're gonna show me something, give me that. You know, I know we've mentioned it in a bunch of episodes, and I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do Anthem.
Oh,
man, Anthem
5 for 5.
I think Anthem is one of those games that the vision was there. The game wasn't.
It's so masterfully envisioned, and it's so the way they talk about it and the way they show it was like, oh, we know this is gonna be Game of the Year for the next 10 years.
And then it flopped.
They're working on Anthem next, but again, they're not. And I'm okay with this. I really don't mind this. There's no specified information beyond that. Mm-hmm. It could drop at the end of the year. It could drop in a year. It could drop in a 2. The only thing that I want for them to do, since the studio is they're doing like a smaller side project to work on it and like kind of manifest the game. I'm just hoping that they're like, we've heard everything y'all have been saying since release. Here is the game that you've been asking for, and it's a free update.
If they do that,
I'm in.
I'm in there.
I mean, I try to get back in.
Yeah,
but everything else exists.
I played it for a while, and I finished the story and everything, but it just feels bland after a while. You know, it feels like it's fun, but what else can I do? You know, like Destiny, for example.
Loading
screens. Oh man, loading screens on Anthem are horrendous.
Yeah. SSD, please.
Oh my god. But let's say for example Destiny, you know, it's supported so much, and it's getting another update soon with a bunch of new DLC and everything. I'm wearing the shirt actually. This is not on purpose, but Destiny has so much support that, you know, it keeps the audience back in. For example, I'm a big Destiny player myself. I have a tattoo of Destiny right there, but it's one of those that I stopped playing it for a while. Then they release a new update, and then I'm in there for a bunch of hours, and then I'm done with it. You know, but they at least they maintain that support and everything. I'm a big fan of Bungie overall, so I know they do great games. So I feel like the next generation consoles, they're gonna bring amazing games overall.
I'm looking forward to Straight Heat. They're gonna like bring out the Bunsen burner. They're gonna release some crazy games. Yep.
If you guys have never played PC games, just be ready, because these games are gonna be PC quality.
Oh yeah.
So be ready for what's coming. Overall, you're gonna be very happy with all the developers and all the companies that are gonna be bringing out.
Yeah, there's no more restrictions now that the consoles have SSDs now.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say there's like an excuse, but it gives people a lot more freedom, because now they have we have to go through loading screens and stuff like that. Now they're just like, we're going to do what they did in Ratchet and Clank. We're going to give you 5 maps, and you can access them at any point in the game.
With no loading screens.
No loading screens. And everything literally is there in an instant. You can go from point A to point B, and there's different enemies and different types and different sceneries.
And everything renders like that.
Yep.
So just be ready for the next generation consoles. If you're excited, I would say look into them a little bit more. Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, they both have their specs out. We will be having more information later on in the year, which brings us to the final topic of the podcast, which is the Xbox Live event on July 23rd. Be ready. Microsoft announced that they're going to be doing the Xbox Live event on July 23rd. Hopefully, releasing all the information on the next generation console, and maybe announcing some games. Halo, maybe. So we're gonna be seeing a lot of the stuff coming on July 23rd for the Xbox Live event. So if you guys are excited for the next generation console, tune in on July 23rd so you guys can see what they're gonna be bringing.
We do know for a fact, as of confirmed recently, that 343 is making an appearance, and they are showing something Halo related, because they specifically said that they were going to be there.
Yeah.
And then besides that, there was also a PlayStation rep, I guess, that said that they're doing something afterwards to show off some, I think it's first party games that they're going to do after the announcement of that. So I guess they were holding off on some of their like personal shooters or whatever they're going to have. And then once Xbox does their event, they're going to be like, hey, we have this to kind of counteract what they're doing.
I always say, think about Microsoft. When you think about Xbox, the first game that pops into my head, I'm sure it pops into a lot of people's heads, is Halo.
Yeah.
So when you think of Xbox, you think of Halo. You know it's their big game. If you've never played Halo, give it a shot, because overall, story-wise, I feel like it's one of the best built games out there that Bungie did, and then 343 took over. Yeah, Game Pass. Exactly.
Every single one of them is on Game Pass.
Yeah. So definitely give it a try. 343 Industries did great with their games. Bungie, incredible. They did with the first 3. So I feel like it's gonna be a big thing with Halo Infinite. So, what do you hope to hear from the Xbox Live event?
So personally, I feel like just due to the last few years, obviously Halo is like a big thing. The event that they're gonna do with the 60+ games that they're gonna talk about, they're gonna show off. I'm really hopeful that some of those games are games that like we've been really hyped for, and they're actually gonna let us all play and try out. I'm always gonna be hyped for a new Splinter Cell, man.
Of course.
That's gonna be no question.
Yeah.
Maybe a new Vanquish, because they did, and I guess I'm just like hypothesizing, because they did come out with a Bayonetta and Vanquish Xbox One and PlayStation bundle recently, a few months ago. So maybe that might be the case, or just like 1 or 2 sequel games that they're like, hey, we're gonna have this for next console.
I'm hoping we get like the big announcements for me. I'm hoping we get, of course. I know we're gonna get Halo, but what I really want is price on the console. I want a definite release date. So those are the 2 things that I'm really, really hoping to see on their Xbox Live event, because I hate anticipation.
Yeah.
I hate what am I gonna pay? When is it gonna be releasing? We know when Cyberpunk is releasing, so is it gonna be before or is it gonna be after? Like, what am I doing? What am I getting?
I kind of hope it's before, personally, because I want it to be out so I can have the console and then get Cyberpunk.
And then get the game, right?
Yeah.
So if it is before, then it's gonna be great. If it's not, then I'm gonna be getting it on the Xbox One anyway, day one, and then play it a few days or a week after if it comes out a little bit later. But I guess we'll see, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be something to wait for the time frame. But I mean, I'm just hoping, because from the way that they've been talking about it, and they do this every year, they kind of talk like hype about how big it's gonna be, but I mean, so far they've been like really showing some of their games. I'm hoping that some of the games. There was one of the horror games, the Medium, I think you mentioned before.
The Medium.
I'm hoping that they show gameplay for some of these games that they showed previously and like previous.
Yeah, because we're gonna get a lot of the stuff for, of course, the Xbox Live demo event that is coming, that we mentioned on our previous episode. So you get to try a bunch of these games and whatnot already. But of course, not all of them are gonna be out there. A lot of the AAA titles are not gonna be in there. So we need news. We need to know what's gonna happen.
I'm hoping they might tease us and throw in a AAA.
I'm pretty sure they will. I'm pretty sure they will. That's gonna be the big closing, I think. I think they're gonna be like, okay, this is what I'm hoping. Here's the price. Here's the date. And here's a game that's coming for it.
Yeah. Oh, and you can play this today.
Yeah.
Valhalla.
Oh my god, man.
Oh,
that's gonna be so wild if they do something like that. But anyways.
Yeah. No, we have to see. We're just hopeful. I'm hopeful. I like to think very positive about these events, because it just gives me this anticipation that I'm hoping that they build onto something, and I'm hoping that they take what people have been wanting, which is just dropping some really good games and making them, available to people to play. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm hoping for the best. We'll see. Next week we're gonna be having a big conversation on everything that's gonna be going on. We have the Ubisoft Play event coming on, so we're gonna be talking about that on our next episode. Just keep us informed. If you guys see any news that you guys want to hear mentioned in the show, message us on our social media. Let us know. I do want to recommend a few games. We're gonna close it out. We're gonna close it a little bit different. I do want to recommend a few games. If you guys do own an Xbox, download or if you have Xbox Game Pass, download a few games. I've been playing a lot of different games personally. I just finished a game called The Messenger, which is a 2D side-scroller platformer, amazing ninja game, which you play as a little ninja. You actually get a scroll that you have to actually take throughout the whole story, beating different enemies and whatnot. Think about, I want to kind of make it kind of like Mega Man type deal.
Okay.
So you get a lot of the different enemies and whatnot that you gotta beat, and of course at the end of the mission you get your boss fight in every stage. So definitely Mega Man. It's definitely The Messenger. Try it out if you haven't played it. And I've also been playing, since it just came out, Catherine Full Body on the Switch. I'm so excited, so happy that I'm playing it again. I've put in a bunch of hours already, and it plays so good on the Switch, handheld and on the dock. It plays incredible. So Catherine Full Body, if you are a fan of different puzzle games, this one is definitely, I know I mentioned it already in a previous episode, but definitely look into it, and then try it out, because it is an amazing story game. So those are my games. What games have you been playing?
I just started Mario Odyssey.
Yes.
Which is one of the first actually the first Mario that I played since Sunshine.
Yes.
So it's been a very long time. That game is gorgeous. It's so vivid and so full of life. Like I have so much fun playing it. It's amazing.
It is my favorite Mario game. And I know a lot of you are fans of the old school Mario games, and I was also until Odyssey came out. Mario 64 has always been my favorite game of Mario of all time. since it came out. But then Odyssey came out, and if you haven't played it, please do, because that game is gorgeous visuals, gorgeous gameplay. It's just
there's I could make a whole different speech about that, but it's fantastic so far. Besides that, of course, Smite, they have the event coming out in like a week from today, or about 5 or 6 days. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Which will be 2 days from the
2 days. So it'll be Tuesday, July 14th. And you can play that on Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, or your computer. And you can play them all together with your friends, because cross-play and cross-progression is a thing.
And I want to announce that I finally started playing Smite.
Yes.
He got me into it. And I gotta say, holy crap, what a game. Yeah. It's so crazy. I remember starting the game, and I asked Nick, how many characters are in there? And I'm thinking he's gonna say, there's about 15 to 20 characters. No, he says
it's like 113.
Holy crap! 113 characters.
Something. That's like a guesstimate. That's the last time that I remember checking. I think it's 112. Still the same thing. Lot. That's still a lot of people.
There's over 100 characters. Yep. That's all I gotta say.
So
if you guys like battle arena games and something that you can actually play across all platforms, cross progression also, Smite is definitely the game.
It's big. It's big. Yeah.
It's a humongous game. It is Nick's one of Nick's all-time favorite games, and I finally got into it. I gotta say, it's a great experience. So we'll be talking more about when the event starts next week. So we'll be mentioning a little bit more, showing you a little bit more of what we're talking about.
Show that boy Aang off a little bit.
Showing
it's gonna be fun.
Zuko and Korra.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be great. But yeah, that's all for us today.
Yeah, let's be it for this episode. I will say, if for any of the information, any of the links, the videos, anything like that, check the description box below. Everything's gonna be down there for you guys to check out at your will. We're gonna put some more information for extra stuff down there as well. If you have any questions, or if you want to see any posts specifically, you can check us out on Instagram at Pass the Joystick, or Twitter at Joystick Pass. But until then, the next episode, we'll see you guys later, and pass the joystick.
See ya.